We're going to start a new practice exercise. It's called handling keyboard and mouse. How can you handle, perform some of the keyboard and mouse action? Like sometimes, in our day-to-day work, we use keyboard and mice. It's similarly in automation. Sometimes you need to use your keyboard and mice. I mean, the mice we know, so clicking is one of the mice action, but other than how about the keyboard? Like some of the, holding shift key, right? Holding one of the key, right? So how can you do it through automation? So we'll do an the practice on one of the example using some keyboard and mice action. Okay, we'll see. So here is the thing: to perform, to do a keyboard or mice action, especially the keyboard one, Selenium, it has its own class. There is a one class, it's called actions class. It's in fact it's actions. So there is a S will be over here. So it's actions class over here. So actions class, okay, there is an actions class available in Selenium library, and it has a tons of method to do some keyboard and mice action. As an example, there is a method inside this class, actions class, the click and hold method. So by the name, by the name, you can understand easily. The method name is click and hold. It means, if you want to click on an element a little bit longer time, then release it, then you can use this method. It's called click and hold method. You can see over here the description: clicks without release at the current mouse location. Click and hold method. Okay. Then context click. So context click, it's a method is used to do your right click. So sometimes we have to do right click, right? Any one of the elements, sometimes you will perform a right click. So to do a right click, this is the method is called context click. Okay, underneath again, actions class. Double click, easily we can understand this method. It does a double click on an element. Drag and drop. Drag and drop, like sometimes you need to drag an element from one place to another place, and you can see drag and drop this method. It has a two parameter. It's one is parameter is a source, another parameter is called target. So it means you have to provide the example. Let me give you an example over here. So you can see there is a there is a two element over here. You can drag this element and it can drop somewhere. You can drop here, right? So this kind of job you can easily do by the method is called drag and drop underneath the actions class, and it has a two parameter. It's one is source, another one is target. It means the locator or address of the element of the source element. Like you have to give the pass the what's the address for the source element, and another one is a target. It means the address of the locator for the targeted element, like where you are dragging your element to. Right, so that's why you have to give an address, like from where you are going to you are dragging the element and where you are going to drop it. So this is called source and target. Okay, so that's why it has a two parameters, source and target. So you have to give the locator for the both element, and when you call this drag and drop method. Okay, and then similarly drag and drop another method. You can use source as a the offset, like x-axis y-axis value, but it's not necessary that you have to use this. You can easily use this if there is, if you don't have the locator, if you don't want to use the, x offset and y offset, or x-axis y-axis value, you can easily use this one. Okay. Here is a method. It's called key dot down. Key dot down. It means if you want to key down, if you want to hold down any key on your keyboard. So key dot down, then you have a modifier key or a key inside as a parameter. Similarly, key up, if you want to keep hold any key, it's up, you can and then and then you can release it. So here is the you have to pass the key inside, like what key you want to do this, perform that kind of action. There is another method, is very famous method. It's called move to element. Move to element, like whenever you move your mouse, hover your mouse to an element, not click. You don't click it, just you hover your mouse to an element. For example, I hover my mouse to this perform context, the perform string. Just you hover it. Like sometimes you need to hover and then it's it's perform, it change the color, it perform some action. So move to element, that kind of things does. Move to element, and then it's over here the locator to element. The parameter is called to element. It means you have to pass the address of the element, like where you want to perform this move to element method or action. There's a release method also. So release method also, it's depress the left mouse button at the current mouse location. Okay, this is something is displayed. Those are something is a different. It's not a part of. Those are not a part of the actions class. Okay, so the mainly it's the main method of the actions class. Action class is click and hold, context click, double click, drag and drop, and key down or key up, as well as move to element. Okay, so those are the main method that's we're going to use underneath actions class to perform any kind of keyboard and mouse action. So let's do. So so in our exercise, so what we're going to do, we'll this time we'll use amazon.ca. Okay, so in amazon.ca, let me sign out. Amazon. So this is amazon.ca. So the first things probably we'll do, how about, let me see, yeah, maybe over here, if I hover my mouse, let's see if there's something open. Maybe this over here. Okay, hello sign in account list, or maybe in your, when you go to the Amazon, it shows like one of the prime button over here, whatever. It's like if it's a, if you hover your mouse to that element and it's happens something, like it just to open the more drop down options, or it's called the burger options, burger menu. So you can just hover. So this is our first exercise. So we'll hover our mouse to one element over here, and then we'll click on this search button. Click on the search button, and then it means you have to locate this search button first, and then we're going to type over here Alexa, Alexa, Alexa. Okay, we're going to type it's Alexa. But before we type, here is a keyboard action we're going to use over here. Before we type, if you hold your shift button from your keyboard, if you hold it shift, then type is Alexa, you will see it will automatically convert to the alphabetical. It will automatically convert to the uppercase. All right. So it means, we're going to use, why we're using shift button holding, because so that we can use a keyboard, one of the keyboard exercise, like how we can, hold any key. So in this case, we're going to hold the shift button so that it automatically convert this Alexa, string to uppercase. And after that, we're going to use double click, like to highlight it. So highlight it, so if you double click, it will highlight. So this is a mouse, another mouse action. Okay, and then maybe you go back to over here, the same element we use as a hover, then you can right click there. So this is exercise for the right click. So all the methods, most of the methods we have related in actions class, we're going to use those. Okay, everyone is clear about the exercise? I hope that.
Yes.
Sounds good. So let's open our Eclipse. Let's open Eclipse, and then over here, let's create a class. Let's give a name, keyboard key and mouse exercise or practice demo. Okay. In method, this is our main method. So first things what are we going to do? We're going to let's go to here. This is a Chrome. Okay, so this is a Chrome. So it's all the default things we're going to. So use the system.set properties, as you know, Chrome driver key and and the value, and then web driver equals new chrome driver, which is the polymorphism, comes from the polymorphism as a relationship between web driver and chrome driver, parent child relationship, and then maximize the window and then launch the page. Okay, so over here, so we're going to launch the page. What's the page over here? Amazon.ca, right? So where is the Amazon.ca? So this is our page. So we're going to launch Amazon.ca. Okay. First things that we're going to use. Number one, we're going to use move your mouse to account, or hover your mouse. Move your mouse to account element. Okay, element. So move your mouse to account element. Account element, it's right there. Right there, account element, right? Whatever it's like, the user account element over here. Okay, so before since this is in this case, we're going to use action class. So in the actions class, we have a move to element. There's a method, as I said, move to element method. It's help you to move your mouse to a specific element. So we have to use actions class, and then from actions class, we have to call those methods. So if I just flashback our Java experience, we know that through the Java, if you have a class, and inside the class you have a bunch of methods, and if you want to call any method in your class from that specific class, what do? We can create an object of that class, and then you can use the object reference to call those methods, right? That's one option. So we can do this. So since we're going to use some of the method inside the actions class, so first we're going to create an object of the actions class so that we can call any method inside the actions class in our class, right? So how to create an object of any class? Just use the new keyword and then the class name actions, right? And then put in a variable. So let's what's the variable or object reference is, say, a, and then actions. Okay. Hover your mouse. You can import the package related actions class that comes from the Selenium library. Still there is an error. What it's saying, you have to add argument to match actions keyboard. Here's the add argument to match actions web driver. So it's asking you to add an argument. So you need an argument because when the actions class is created, there is a one parameter. So this is something like you have to pass over here as an argument. So what kind of argument you're going to pass? It is saying like who's going to do this, all the performance through the actions class? Your driver. So we have to pass the driver, right? This driver will, because who's doing all the jobs? The driver is doing. So that's why we have to pass the driver as an argument inside this class. So if I use now, driver, now you can see, sorry, not the driver. This is the A's object reference of the actions class. It means is A has the knowledge about all the method inside the actions class. So we can use A dot. You can see there's a lot of method over here. Build, click, click and hold. You see context clicks. All the method I just showed you earlier from my note. Context click. You can double click. You see all the drag and drop. So those are the method. It's all coming up from inside the actions class. And we can call any one of the method now using object reference of the actions class. So first, we're going to call move to element. So move to element, it's going to be move our mouse to a element. So which is that, like a user account element, right? So let's see, where is the move to element? Move to element. Okay, move to element is a web element target. So this is the one we're going to use. So web element inside this, so there is a web element target you have to pass. It means the locator of the element. Where is the locator of the element? Over here. spy this. Excuse me. Uh, Here you can see there is a span, there's an ID, class, hello. It's a little bit different on your side if you don't have the Amazon account, because I have an Amazon account. That's why it shows me over here. Let me log out again. Let's see. I can give it. Let's see. Let's spy it. Oh, come on. Okay, looks like here is the ID. I can use ID. There is an ID over here. That's reflect also over there, right? So I can use ID. Let me use the ID. Or let's see what's showing in our tools also. The selectors hub, relatives expert, relative expert. Yeah, they use ID. You see, it's the same things they use. So we can copy it, and then over here you can pass it over here. So how you're gonna pass this now? It's the address. You're going to pass the address of that element. So as for our last class, we know how to create an address of an element using the driver dot find element. Move to element. Okay, you know what? Let me find it over here. And driver dot find element by driver dot find element by, we are saying the XPath, right? We're going to use the XPath, and this is the value of the XPath, right? Value of the XPath. So driver dot find element by XPath. Okay, so move to element. This is the one over here. So in this case, you are passing. So let's put this one. So I have to pass. We're calling the move to element method. So inside that, you have to pass the target, the locator of your targeted elements. What is the locator of your targeted element? This is the locator of your targeted element. Okay, so whether you can pass the whole thing, this whole thing over there, or you can put this one, the whole thing. What is this? It is about a element, wave element. This is the address of a wave element. You can put this one in a variable. You can say target element. Or you can put this on a user account. Let's give a name, user account, ACT element. Yes, Rabia.
Good morning, I'm here.
Yeah. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Sharif.
So this is the locator of the user account, right? User account element, and it's you have, when you create a variable and you put in a data. This is a data. What type of data? This is an element. So your return type would be wave element. Okay. So wave element is a type of return type of also for Selenium, because in Selenium you are finding elements most of the times. So when you put this the locator for an element in a variable, its return type should be the same like wave element. Wave element. What is web? Web element. Right. I don't know, web element change to. Oh, sorry, just to web element. Yeah. Okay, so this is your, so pass the targeted element over there. So now I call this method and I pass the locator of this locator of this element. Where this element is located, this is the address of the element. Okay, and after that, so it means it's supposed to move my mouse to that specific address. So here is a one more thing you have to remember when we use actions class. In actions class, you have to, when your action is done, your I mean, you call the related method, you perform an action, your action is done, and at the end, before you close the statement, like it means when I say close the statement, it means you're putting at the end semicolon. Before you close the statement, you have to call two more methods. It's called build, and another method is called perform. Build.perform. This is exceptional for action class. Only when you use actions class and call any method at the very end, you have to add this two method. The reason why you have to add this, the build method, what is the build method does? Build method will build you this script, and then perform method will execute this script. Okay, so there's a difference between build and perform. When you write our code, when we run our code, it first is build, and then it's execute. It means it's perform. Okay, so when you create an application, like the developer, when they create an application, they first they write it, first they script it, they code it, and then when they run it, before they run it, they build it. When we run it, always there is a build happen first. It means it's combine all the script, and after that is execute as per a line. But when we run it, we don't see that difference, because behind the scene those two steps happen one after another. So here, when you use the actions class, inside the actions class, any method when you're going to use at the end, just remember that this is an exception, the use case of actions class. We have to call the build and perform method at the very end of your statement. So build method again will build your code first, and perform method will execute your code. Okay, so this is the first things was like, move your mouse to it. This is the let's put this one over here first. So this was the number one things we did. Move your mouse to user account element. In your case, so whether you can put a user account, or if you see there's a prime button up there, if you hover, if something open, you can do this one too. You can just spy the prime and then follow the same the fashion. That's the number one. If you let's save it and run it, let's see if it doesn't work or not. Here you go. You see, it's automatically how this open this part. It's gone because my mouse was moving to here. So if you hover your mouse, you will see this the burger menu open. So it did the job. And if you close it, you will see that there's no error over here. So it works. So that's the number one. And number two, it's let's click on search and type Alexa. It's Alexa, but here is the one thing, condition. What's the condition? Alexa with uppercase. Alexa holding shift key. So if you hold the shift key and then you type Alexa, it will convert to uppercase. Okay, so this is the one, and double click. Okay, so that we can highlight that Alexa. So if you double click, so highlight any string, you can double click. So we're going to use double click method also. So that's why I added that part too. Okay, so let's see how can we do this. So to do this, you have to again locate your the search box first. Where is the search box locator? So spy it, go there, and here is you can see the related code. I can see there is an ID. So if it is the ID, My first preference to use ID. Okay, so I will say uh, driver dot find element, driver dot find element by dot ID, by dot ID. All right, what's the value of the ID? Value of the ID. This is the value of the ID, right? So this is the locator. So you can put this one again. See, we're a little bit now more uh, I would say more optimized way we're starting to write our code. You'll see a lot of times, like you see this I, when after I find the locator, I put in a variable. So I can, without putting this locator without in a variable, I can directly put this code inside this over here, which will look long line. This is a little bit much more organized. Actual in your actual scripting, where when you call a method, if it's possible, use a variable, so it looks much better. And or also when you put this locator in a variable, it's to give you other benefit too. If you need to use the same locator again any in the same class, so you can again just you call this variable instead of writing the whole code, right? So that's a little bit benefits give you when you use a variable instead of using a long line. So over here we can put this one too. It is a search box, right? So search box, I can say give a variable name search box, and return type also, it is also web element, right? So I put this one. So this is the locator of the search box, right? Since we're using actions class, so we can use again this method, a move to element method, to move our mouse to the search box. So it's the same thing we can call over here. We can use the same method over here, same method, move to element where this is the place, this is the address locator for the search box. So this is the search box, move to element. So we're moving our mouse to this search box, and after that we're saying um, click. So we have to click on the, we have to click so that we can start to type something up there. So before we type, we said we are going to hold the shift key button down. So to holding the shift key button, so there is a method in actions class, is called key. You can see key down, key up. There's a couple of methods related to it. It's related with the keyboard, like any key you can press it down, or from there you can press it up. So here is the key down method. So key down method over here, and then so key down method, it will help you to hold any method down. Okay, and then what key you wants to down, you have to pass over here. So here you're going to type keys dot, that as soon as you put the keys dot, that it shows you all the different type of the key you have. So what keys we want to push it down? We want to push it down shift. You can sh after you type, you'll see there is a shift. So this means your the key down method, it help you to key any key from your keyboard to press it down. And inside as an argument, you are going to call using the keys, and then after the dot, whatever the key you want to press it, hold. So in this case, we're holding a shift key. So this will hold the shift key down, and after that you want to call the send keys method so that we can type inside something, whatever what do you want to type? Alexa. So we're going to type Alexa. Okay, so this Alexa will in fact convert to uppercase because we're holding the shift key down over here. Okay, and then what was the next thing? So the next thing was we want to, let's remove this line. We said, and after, so we are done up until this. We click on a search and type Alexa holding shift key and double click. And the double click, there's a method in actions class. Again, it's called double click. Method name is called double click. So you can add this double. You can call the double click method. So this double click method will apply on this Alexa string, right? So and after that, we said there is nothing else. There is no more action we're going to perform. So before you close it, before you close the statement, or before you close this line, for the actions class, this is the exception that you have to call the build method and dot perform method. Okay, so this supposed to click on the search box and then hold the shift key down, hold the shift key down, and then type is Alexa as an uppercase. Then it's supposed to double click on this Alexa. Okay, that's supposed to do it. Okay, let me save it. Let's run it. So first it's supposed to go to the user account up there. It should hover. Okay, it did. Then you see it's over here. It's type Alexa in uppercase, and also it's a highlighted. It means it was a double click. Okay, if you close it, there's no error. Okay, so that's that. Number two, our exercise. Number three, let's the number three would be, let's maybe it's the same place, like same user account. We'll hover our mouse again to user account, and then we'll right click that time, this time. Okay, we'll right click. So how to do this? So to do this, yes please.
So what's the meaning of key down?
Key down is a method that comes from the actions class inside. So key down method, we're calling the key down method to hold, to press any key. What key you are going to press, it's up to you. You are going to pass inside as an argument. So key down method, it's help you to down any key on your keyboard.
Okay, so shift we use for the uppercase, right?
Yeah.
And if we have to pass the lowercase, then is there any other one, or we just need to like leave it empty?
If you want to, what's that? Say that again.
If we put like if we have to put Alexa in the lowercase.
Like, are you talking about this argument?
Yeah. So shift. So you use shift for the uppercase, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if we have to use the lowercase, then we don't need to pass this key down, right?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So next is so this will, in fact, this will convert your the Alexa to the uppercase, right? That's why if you do manually in your keyboard, you can try on your own. First is hold your shift key and type something. You'll see even though you're typing just regular lowercase, it will automatically convert to the uppercase. So that's what we're doing. So this is the exercise of the keyboard. The next is let's go to the same element. We're moving our mouse to the same element, like same element over here, the user account, so that we can use the same variable. And then we'll right click. On that element, we're going to perform a right click. It means it's the same element. We'll hover our mouse to here, and then we'll do the right click. So it means then the right click option will be open. Okay. So to do this again, we're going to call the same A2 moves over here. Move to user account element, and perform right click action. Okay, right click action. So over here, so first you have to move your mouse, right? So move your mouse again. We're going to call the A2 move to element method. We're moving to the same element, same locator. So this is the variable. It's holding the address of this element, right? So user account. So let's pass the user account again. So this is the reuse code. See, if you use your locator puts in a variable, it's another benefit. Like if you need to reuse this variable again in somewhere else, you can just use the variable. You don't have to pass this whole long line, right? So this will make much more organized. Your code looks much clear and easy to understand. Okay, so this is a part of the best practice of coding. So anyway, so we're using move to element, and we're moving to element. So in this element, and after that we're going to right click. So right click, there is a method inside this actions class. Since we're still using actions class, it's called context click over here. You can see context click. Okay, so you can call that context click. Okay, so here and after that you can what's where after that what do you need to do. So this is pretty much where the action is done, and then before we close it we'll have to use build, and then you have to call the perform method. Okay, so pretty much that's all that's supposed to do it. Let me run it again. Okay, that's the first exercise. This is second. So the second was was quick. You can see still it's uppercase is still there, and then it went there and it did a right click. So before, because of the right click, it shows like this, right? Because of the right click, it's give you the right click options, right? So that's the pretty much the few of the exercise you can say using your keyboard and your mouse. Okay, and then very at the very end you probably you can close if you want to close your window. You can do it. You can say private dot close, so it will close your browser. It's a very simple, but the exercise to to use like to understand that how you can perform different activities in your through your keyboard using actions class. So sometimes in the interview they ask you like uh, how you perform some of the keyboard action in your script. So your action your answer would be we use the actions class. So inside actions class there is a tons of method related to perform some keyboard and mouse actions. Example, double click, context click for to do the right click, right? So move to element to move your mouse to any specific element. Okay, drag and drop. In our next class we will see how we use the drag and drop. Okay, so those are the couple of methods, so you can easily answer that. So to do any keyboard, especially keyboard and mouse action, we can use actions class, and inside the actions class there's a tons of method. We can use any one of the method as far we need. Clear, everyone? So this is the use case of actions class, and also how you can perform some of the activities through the your keyboard.